Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias. Today we are taking yet another look at the Thomas Baikal Baikal. Why, you ask? Well, in celebration of the fact that it is coming back out, kind of? It is actually available for pre-order, a new, slightly different version. The only differences I can really see are that he actually changed the screws to silver here on the blue model. And yes, on the blue model, because there's now green, purple, and black. But I think the black sold out, and those will be available for pre-order for 2 more days when this video goes live, until the 28th of November. And I swear to you, this is not like an ad or anything. Thomas hasn't messaged me and said, hey, can you talk about the Baikal? This is just a genuinely exciting thing for me, because the Baikal has been one of my more interesting balisongs in that kind of price range that it sits at, which the pre-order actually reduced. I think this thing was like $160 when it first came out. Now you can pre-order it for like $140. So it's putting it in almost direct contention with my current favorite, the BB Barfly Barracuda V2. But it's just been so exciting, because one of the things that we've talked about a lot over the past few weeks on this channel has been how little I feel like the $100 to $200 price range has been, kind of how little attention has been paid to it. And it was always difficult, because the Baikal was always a balisong that I wanted to recommend people, because I genuinely do enjoy flipping it, but I couldn't because it didn't exist. It was out of stock. It wasn't being made anymore. And as I have also previously discussed on this channel, the balisong community is very review focused, so content involving, or recommendations or anything involving stuff that's not in the market anymore, people don't care about, because they want to know what they should get now instead of just watching a fun video about a balisong. So I figured, in honor of all of that being not true anymore, I can actually recommend this thing to people again. Let's do a kind of like, where is it now with the Baikal? I don't think it's been a year since I've gotten it, but it's certainly been a while. And it has certainly grown on me, especially with another, wow, that could not have gone worse. Especially with another balisong that we've talked a lot about recently, the Sirius V4 coming in. Now the Sirius V4, things haven't really changed since the last video that I made. Still a really decent balisong, not my favorite thing ever, but also not the worst thing ever. But the thing that really caught me off guard when I switched back to the Baikal after not flipping it for so long was, and I know this is going to be blasphemous to say, you're going to look at me and you go, Ethan's lost his gourd when he says this, but I kind of feel like the Baikal is everything that I wanted the Sirius to be. It has the tip weight, it has the fanning, it has the ergonomics, it has the grip, it has the jimping. It has the slight bit of end weight. Now, I will say that the Baikal doesn't have a ton of end weight. That was something that I believe I said when it first came out. And I still believe that's true. If you're looking for a ton of, like, handle weight here, you're not getting, like, a Kraken trainer level experience, which, ironically, is another balisong that I have been flipping lately and absolutely loving. But you're certainly not getting kind of the lack that the Sirius V4 feels like it's giving. It just feels, honestly, like if you were to really A/B it, they feel very similar, but I think it's the Baikal's increase in the tip weight that just makes it feel a little bit more balanced to my hand. And it's just really, really good. I have to take another video to praise the jimping on the Baikal. I still have yet to find another balisong that really just works as well as this does. It's like sharp in the best way, because it just latches onto your finger. It's the right thickness, there's the right spread of jimping, it's the right length. It just feels really, really good. And this blade design remains one of the most interesting that I've seen, especially now that you can get it in a black colorway with the black and the green. It just looks really, really nice. And as I mentioned before, one of my big complaints aesthetically was the screws, which have now been fixed. So the Baikal is just honestly shaping up to be a really, really good time. And it kind of sucks, because I'm assuming it's going to go the way of the original run of the Baikal, and eventually we're going to go back into a time when you can't really recommend it because it doesn't exist anywhere anymore. But It's just cool. It's a cool balisong. I enjoy it. The ergonomics are good. The color is freaking sweet. The blade is awesome. The flipping is good. I guess I haven't really described the flipping for anyone who hasn't seen the old Baikal videos. I would say it's comfortably neutral, but if you're someone who relies on handle weight, like I said before, like you're not getting a Kraken trainer experience here. If you're someone who relies on a little bit more handle weight, it probably won't be to your taste because the handles are a little lighter than I think people would really want it to be. But to me, it just ends up being a really nice, neutral, agile, light, fast flipper. Like there's not too much sluggishness here. It kind of does what I want when I want. It's a little weird sometimes, like right there, where if you get ahead of it, it will really punish you on that. Like it's not doing what I want 100% of the time, but it is doing what I want a solid amount of the time. And it just ends up, especially with its specs, it's 70-75 aluminum on bushings. It just ends up being one of the better options when it comes to, sub 200. Because like I've said so many times, there's no one really doing sub 200 anymore, it feels like. Granted, now we have the BB Barfly Barracuda, which I know people are going to ask, what do you prefer, this or the Baikal? In all honesty, now this thing isn't tuned very well and it's not oiled, so it's going to feel a little bit worse to me. Ultimately, I do think nowadays I prefer the Barracuda V2. Like if I'm looking for a balisong to bring with me, I'm probably looking at the Barracuda V2. But at the same time, I have used the Baikal as one of the most dedicated beaters in my collection for a while. Like if you look at it, it's probably the most intentionally scuffed up because I actually flip it places where I wouldn't flip other balisongs. It's a tough one, honestly. I think the Baikal feels a little bit better in the hands, but the Firefly V2 feels a little bit better to flip, so it's entirely what you're looking for. I also think if I oiled this right now and I tuned it up a little bit, it would go to the Firefly pretty handedly. So I definitely think that the Firefly is still winning in this price range for me, but it does not change the fact that I still really like the Baikal, and I think that you should check it out if it at all looks interesting to you, if not only for its incredibly unique design, which I guess is kind of like BM51 trainer blade adjacent, especially with this hole pattern or the 40 series or whatever it is. I don't remember, man. But yeah, it's a fun flipper and it's back now, and that's pretty cool because there's another thing to recommend in that price range. I don't think my Bally recommendation list is going to change with this new Baikal thing, unfortunately. I'm going to wait to see how long this ends up going. If this is just like a one-drop thing, then I won't change anything. But if Thomas ends up doing like another drop or two of these, I could definitely see a world where this sneaks into my list. I remember when I tried to remake the list after the Prisma Pro came out, I found myself wanting to put the Baikal in a lot of different places. Ultimately, I think it's places that the BB Barracuda ended up taking, and I don't think the Baikal is going to change that simply because the BB Barfly is, far more available. But they're both great flippers. There's actually good options in the price range again, I feel like, especially now with the Series V4 coming out, even though I'm not the hugest fan, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Series V4, I cannot deny that it is still a really solid price. And ultimately, I'm going to plug my own thing here. I'm really interested to see what the mid-range Balisong award goes to in the Bally Awards at the end of this year. There's a lot of categories that in previous years I had, kind of expectations for how the community was going to vote. This year, there are so many different categories that I couldn't even guess where it's going to go. So it's going to be a very interesting Bally Awards. The nominations are now wrapped up. Voting will hopefully be out in the next week or so. I still have to go through and tally up all the results from nominations, which is going to take a while because you guys wanted to be little trolls in some of the responses. So I have a lot of stuff to filter out. But yeah, Bally Award's still coming up. The Baikal is out now. And the BB Barfly Barracuda is still awesome. I don't even know what I'm going to title this video because it ended up kind of being a look at the whole price range in general. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one, which might be a little sooner than you expect. Maybe if I go record what I think I'm going to record right now. Later.